Welcome everyone to Father, Son, and Holy Sport Weekly NFL Show. It's G-Man and T-Money coming to you live NFL Week 15, bringing you our entertaining father-son camaraderie that you love, getting you ready for the upcoming NFL week. How do we get you ready? I thought you'd never ask. We got best bets for you. We've got fantasy advice, and we've got a lot of other fun tips for the owners and coaches around the NFL. T-Money starting off with these guys behind me. They're just laughing all the way to the Super Bowl all the time. They're just having a blast. They just keep on winning. The Chiefs just won their 15th straight one-possession game on Sunday night. Matthew Wright bangs the kick off of the goalpost.
Crazy.
And Kansas City wins again 19-17 over the Chargers. The Chiefs now 12-1. Are they just good, T-Money, or are they lucky?
You know what? I think being lucky more often than others comes with being good, because you put yourselves in a situation to get lucky more than others. When you're getting blown out 40-10, there's not a lot of opportunities to be lucky. And so, I think that this team is a good team. I think they have a great defense. I think they have a great quarterback, great coach who put themselves in the right position. They've had a lot of people with injuries. On the offensive side of the ball, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, running back 1, their left tackle's atrocious. So the offense is struggling, but they're putting themselves in position to win. And now, yes, is the Raiders snap fumble from last week extremely lucky? Does that probably happen once out of every 10,000 snaps? Yes, that's lucky. But they were winning the game. They put themselves in position for something like that to happen. Did the Los Angeles Chargers, put themselves in a chance to win? Yes, but the Kansas City Chiefs drove down the field methodically to end the game, and they had a kicker make that. If he hadn't bounced it off the upright, we wouldn't even be talking about them being lucky. Now, we can have a different conversation about their offense not looking the same, not having scored 30 points in a very long time since overtime on November 4th. And before that, they hadn't scored 30 points all year, more than 30 points. They scored 31 of their time, but more than 30 points all year. We can have a different conversation. But this is a good team. This is a good roster, great defense, great quarterback. Like I said, you put yourselves in position to win enough, you're going to look lucky. And that is a sign of a good team.
Yeah, I know. It's so amazing to watch these guys. And hey, they're so good that people have to play perfect to beat them. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see this team kind of dominate. But can they be dominant? But they're dominating the AFC. They're 12-1. They're 2-game lead over the Bills. They're almost locked into the number 1. And they go to the Browns this week. They're Sunday at Cleveland. Finish a bunch of their regular season games on the road. I'm not worried about that, though. But it's not one of the teams I'm worried about, though, is the 49ers. Brock Purdy's lost 2 games in a row. He may or may not have injured his shoulder, and his record in his last 16 starts, T-Money, 8-8. So his stock is lower than it's ever been since he became a starting quarterback. What do you think about the 49ers? Did they have to pay Purdy after his recent performance?
Well, he looked damn good in that game for Chicago. And, I'm not going to lie. He looked good in that, okay? He just threw for 325. He had an 80% completion percentage, almost a perfect passer rating. He was great. He was really, really good. But he's not looked that great this season, all right? And I know that everyone wants to talk about, how good he's been last year and the year before that. But this year, he's 12th in passer rating, all right? And, he's looking like he would if he didn't have an all-star roster. And that's what's going to happen when you pay this guy. Trent Williams is going to retire in a year or two. Kittle might not be on the team soon. Deebo Samuel is going to be traded. Ayuk is coming off an injury. Christian McCaffrey looks like he might not play football again. And so this is the roster you're going to see. Now, do I think Brock Purdy can have games like this? Yes. But I think Brock Purdy is more like Kirk Cousins with a little bit of mobility. So there's going to be flashes where he looks like a top 5 guy in the league, and there's going to be games where he looks like a bottom 5 QB in the league. But he's going to be consistent, run your offense, and be a good soldier. That's kind of where I see this guy. And so, look, you want to.
Are they going to pay him or what?
I think they are going to pay him, but I think it's a mistake to pay him, top dollar. I think, they just got this perfect recipe of guys around him at the right time. And that's never going to happen again when you pay someone $50 to $60 million. So they're going to pay him. I don't think they should. I like the Baker Mayfield deal. I like the Kirk Cousins deal, 30 to 40 million a year. I love that range for him. So he can still fill out the roster. But his resume, getting to NFC championships, what Herbert and Trevor Lawrence and Tua have been paid, and he's been further in the playoffs and looked better in the past. He's going to get paid big money. And so I don't think it's a smart move, but it's going to happen.
I really would like to know, is there something wrong with his arm? Is there an injury there somewhere? He just doesn't look sharp. Doesn't look like he's zipping the ball. And I wonder if the 49ers know what's going on and we don't know.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I do. That could be a big impact on whether they pay him or not. And, they look to pay him $50 million a year. They could trade him and sign someone like Darnold for $30 million a year and go that route.
Yeah.
But I think his shoulder, if his arm's good, maybe you do pay him.
Yeah. Yeah. I look, like I said, pay him something, but top of the line dollar billing. I don't think he's in that echelon. I don't think he's got the talent of Justin Herbert. He's not Joe Burrow. I just think be careful what you wish for, because this is the roster that it's going to look like. It's hard to fill out a good roster. QB's got to be able to overcome these things when he's paid that much. So good luck.
Well, Brock, I'm counting on you, Brock. Big game this weekend. The Rams at the 49ers. Brock, this is your moment, baby. You got 4 games down the stretch. You had a good game, T Money mentioned. I want to see 4 more good games down the stretch here, Brock. Go get the pot of gold by getting your 49ers in the playoffs. Okay? Because whoever loses that game, it's all over, baby. Hey, T Money, let's go to another quarterback, Josh Allen. Hey, he became the first quarterback ever to throw for 3 touchdowns and rush for 3 more in the same game. But they lost the game against the Rams.
Yeah.
So I know Josh wants to win the game more than any personal awards, but did the Buffalo loss hurt or help Josh Allen's MVP case?
Oh man, it's interesting because I think when you have that sort of stat line, the first ever with 3 passing and 3 rushing in a game, first quarterback to ever do that, you'd think this would skyrocket him to overwhelming favorite. But they lost this game, and that's got to matter. They're 10-3, and I think it kind of left it neutral. And Saquon didn't score any touchdowns, but he had 124, I think, rushing on the ground. So he's coming for that record still. I think it's a 2-man race at this point. But I don't think this game moved the needle as much as this next game will move the needle. All right?
Yeah.
The Bills are going to the Lions, and they're playing the number 1 team in the NFC with a solid defense and a dark horse MVP candidate in Jared Goff. The winner of this quarterback might get the MVP. And
that's true.
I think this game is more important for him. The Rams game, luckily, played well, even though they lost. But if Josh Allen loses this game, goes to 10-4, then, if the Steelers win this game and potentially could jump them in the playoffs standings, things could get a little dicey for Josh Allen. Usually the MVP comes from the 1st or 2nd seed. So luckily for them, they finished with, I think, Patriots, Jets, Patriots. So Buffalo's got to be fine finishing the year. But I think this game, this weekend, is more important for him. He's got to show up versus one of the best teams in the league. And if he can win this one at Detroit, I think now we're going to be talking about this guy as MVP. But I think Saquon should get it personally, but that's a discussion for another time.
My man Saquon. Saquon's doing it all. And the last guy to win the MVP was Adrian Peterson in 2012, last running back to do it. So let's see what Saquon can do. But yeah, Josh could lose this week, and it still might not hurt him if he loses 45-44.
Yeah.
He can't help what the Buffalo defense does. Buffalo defense really they got lit up last week. But that is going to be an awesome game. Super Bowl preview. It's actually the most likely Super Bowl by CBS Sportsline. They ran a bunch of commutations. The most likely Super Bowl to happen is the Bills and Lions right now. The number one and number two offenses
All
going at
right.
it. So that'll be great to watch. And another great team to watch, it's really Meduna, is the Seahawks team. I mean, they've been playing well. What are you impressed with them?
Holy shit. Geno Smith.
Yeah,
Hey, what's up? Welcome.
yeah.
Hey, and I like Mike McDonald as well, the defensive head coach that came over from Baltimore. And clearly, Baltimore is missing him because that's a bad defense
Yeah,
now. Look, this team
yeah.
has won 4 straight. And one of those wins is over San Francisco. 3 of those 4 are division wins, too. That's what's so big is the stranglehold that they have on this division right now. Right now, they're the freaking 3 seed in the NFC. I mean, I am very impressed with these guys. Not only that, I know Geno Smith's not throwing a lot of touchdowns, but right now, Geno Smith is second in the league in passer rating. Only, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong number here. That was a completion percentage, but or total yards. He's second in the league to total yards to Joe Burrow. So the guy's throwing it all over the place. He's playing really well. And so I'm impressed with this team. I really am. I'm happy for these guys. Their defense is playing well. They lost in OT to the Rams, but they would have kept them to 20 points had they finished that game off. They kept San Francisco under 20. They kept Arizona under 20. They kept the Jets under 21 points, and then Arizona again 18 points. The defense is playing well. The offense is playing good enough. Geno Smith's looking sharp. They have good weapons. TK, JSN, Kenneth Walker, Charbonnet even looks good. I think this week is a big matchup for them. You want to, go prove yourself. The next 3 out of the next 4 games are big. You got Green Bay, Minnesota. Damn, that's a gauntlet. And then the Rams to finish the season, which might be for the division. So look, I'm very impressed with this team. And they're a feel-good story. I'm happy for them. I like Mike McDonald. Sorry, Mike McDonald and Geno Smith. I'm happy for. He's
Team
balling.
Money.
So
Team Money, big fan of the Seahawks, and they pretty much buried the Cardinals over the last 3 weeks, beating the Cardinals twice. Everybody thought the Cardinals was the team.
yeah,
Nope. Nope. The Cardinals are pretty much out of it now, and Arizona is on the back looking in from that last place spot, and it's the friggin' Seahawks that are back up there. And the Rams, I mean, the Rams could be challenging the Seahawks, like you said in that last game on January 5th. Could that be for the West title? Only one of these teams is going to the
yeah,
playoffs, and it's a war right now. And San Fran's favored this weekend. It's actually Thursday night. San Fran's favored over the Rams. This crazy
crazy,
because
crazy.
the Rams lost to Seattle, and they got to get them one more time at the Rams. And so this is a free for all right here. It's going to
Yeah,
be fun to watch it come down the stretch.
yeah,
But the Seahawks are in control. They can do it. And they'll play Green Bay this weekend. It'll be a battle. Green Bay's favored. They're coming up to Seattle. Can Green Bay go into Seattle and knock them off? That would be impressive for Green Bay. We'd be talking about them the same way if they do that. Hey, thanks to
Mhm.
our show sponsor, Blue Tees Golf, blueteesgolf.com. Go check it out for affordable, high quality golf products that can help pick up your golf game, like speakers and rangefinders. Enter coupon code FSHS. Get a 10% discount on your full order, and press that like and subscribe, everybody. Help us to continue to bring you the fun every week. Let's shift gears here, Team Money. Let's go to the big bets. We're going to give you our best bet pick of the weeks. We're going to give you our dog lock. That's a dog that we think might even win the game. And we've been hot here on Father Son Sports. We are 54% so far this year. 55% against the spread this year, including player props. All right, so let's see what we can bring you this time, T Money. Let's go to our lock pick of the week. Who you like?
All right. My lock pick of the week here.
Yeah.
I'm going the Steelers. All right.
Woo.
Steelers plus 5.5 here. Okay. I really like what they've been doing. They've just been dominating teams. They murdered my Bengals, and then they took care of the Browns. And even in their losses, they're keeping things close. The Browns game they lost by 5. The Cowboys game, they lost by 3. The Colts game earlier in the year, they lost by 3. And they're on a really nice, they've won 1, 2, 3, 8 out of their last 9. So this team is rolling. And the Eagles look a little shaky in that Panthers game. You got A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith kind of complaining that they're not getting the ball. They got some reports out that AJ and Hurts are bickering and the locker room's kind
Yeah.
of fracturing. There's a lot riding on this game, and I just think the Steelers keep it close. I'm not saying they win this game, but 5.5, if it gets up to 6, I really like it. So maybe you push it to 6 if you want to get that extra hook in there. I really like the Steelers to keep this thing close. Look, the Eagles might win it. They're a good team. I'm not saying they can't, but the Steelers' defense is for real, and this team has been playing well. And even in losses, boy, do these guys play close games. Mike Tomlin doesn't mess around in blowouts. So I like the Steelers at
All
plus
right.
5.5. That feels like a lot for a 10-3 football team.
T
Okay,
Money. T Money going with the dog for his lock of the week. He's also
yeah,
got a dog lock coming up. And for
okay.
my lock, nice pick, nice pick. I like it. I like it. It's a lot of points. I'm going to go with an easy one, T Money. This is one of your can't believe it. It looks so easy picks. I got Bengals -5 versus Tennessee. Sunday at 1 in Tennessee. The Titans are at home, but you know what, T Money? They're 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 home games. Don't think that's an advantage. The Bengals, meanwhile, are 6-1 against the spread on their last 7 road games. Plus, in the last 7 games versus the Titans, T Money, the Bengals are 6-1 against the spread. Give me the team fighting for the playoffs. Cincinnati
Yep.
-5 for my lock pick of the week.
Hey, I thought the same thing. I wanted to go
I
for
thought
it,
you'd pick it.
but that Bengals defense just scares the living shit out of me. So,
That's true. Yeah.
I can't do it. They just let the Cowboys look like, the Troy Aikman was out there. So
Forty
sometimes they scare me.
49 to 40. 49 to
Yeah.
40 covers.
Well, my dog lock of the week here, my other one wasn't a dog lock. I really like the Dolphins here. Dolphins +3 versus the Texans. All right. The Texans seem to be reeling here. I know they're coming off, a bye. The Dolphins are hot. Okay. The Dolphins won 4 out of their last 5.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Houston is kind of reeling. They lost Jets, Lions. They won an easy one versus the Cowboys. Then they lose to the Titans and barely beat the Jaguars. They have not looked the same this year. Okay. So I really like Tua and these boys who are cooking right now
Yeah.
to come in to Houston, which is a dome. We got to remember that for Tua and the Miami Dolphins, that they're still playing indoors or in a warm climate. They're not going
Yeah.
up to, Cincinnati or Cleveland. I really like the Dolphins here to win this game outright.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, good pick right there. That could be right. Giving up 3. Houston just has not looked that impressive. Can they win by more than 3 if they win? You're right. Good pick, T Money. Hey, let's go to G Man's dog lock pick of the week. I'm going to Arizona, that team we were talking about that's kind of falling apart here in the West. I'm going New England +6, buy it up to 7 versus Arizona Sunday at 4. Did you know that throughout his career, Team Money, Kyler Murray's play has declined in December? It's his worst month by far. If you look at his history, he's thrown 20 interceptions to 27 touchdowns in the month of December. He's also
Wow.
fumbled 21 times in December. So he's got an average per game in December of 2 turnovers per game. Meanwhile, New England is a young team. They're coming off a bye. They're 4-2 against the spread in their last 6 games. And in their last 9 games against Arizona, Team Money, they cover. They're 8-1 against the spread versus Arizona in those games. Give me New England, baby. I'll take the 6 points, buy it up to 7. Dog lock pick of the week. Easy, easy, easy.
All right. All right. I like it. I like it.
And
And
of
then
course, I want to give you a bonus pick if you don't mind.
we'll keep talking then. Let's hear it. Of course, you have a bonus pick. You're pausing for me to move on the You're pausing me to move on the segment. Of course, G-Man's got a bonus pick. Let's go.
Hey, a bonus pick for y'all. Bonus pick for y'all. I'm going to that Commanders New Orleans Saints game Sunday at 1:00. I like the Commanders here. -7. They're in the hunt for a wild card spot. New Orleans is reeling from injuries. Commanders are 8-3-1 against the spread in their last 12 games. They're 6-2 in the last 8 games versus the Saints. So they've been dominating the Saints. And the Saints are 2-7 against the spread in their last 9 games. They're not looking good. Their defense allows 6 yards per play, which is the second most in the NFL. And even though they've had some troubles, the Commanders are still third in the NFL in EPA per play. I'll lay the 7 points. Give me the Commanders for the bonus pick of the week, T-Money.
Okay. All right. I like it, G.
Like
now
that?
Let's move on to the next segment after G-Man's bonus for his other 20 bonus picks, and that's G-Man's player props of the week. Tell me about these 30 picks you got for me, G. What do you got?
I got a 5-pack for you. You know I like giving you a 5-pack on the player props. And I'm going to start with a couple quarterbacks going under 0.5 interceptions. No interceptions for Stafford in the Rams 49ers games. No interceptions for Lamar in the Giants game. Why? Lamar's is going to be running the ball all over the place with Derrick Henry. Run heavy. They killed the Giants. No interceptions. Did you know that Lamar has 0 interceptions in 10 of his last 13 games?
Wow.
So 10 of 13, no interceptions. He won't get him here. He won't be throwing it around the yard. Stafford also no interceptions his last 4 games. He's feeling comfy there with all his receivers back. And he had no interceptions against San Fran earlier this year. So there's a couple good ones. How about in that also in that Rams 49er games Thursday night? I like Kyron anytime touchdown. 3 games in a row he scored. And against San Fran earlier this year, he scored 3 times. Let's go to the Bills-Lions game for my final 2 player props. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown. Come on, baby. He scored 4 games in a row now. He had 3 last week. Josh Allen, anytime touchdown in this high-flying, high-scoring game Sunday at 4. And finally, David Montgomery from the Lions. I'm going to give you a surprise here, but this is the best prop on David Montgomery. I looked them all up, baby. Over 15 reception yards. You're going to say, well, he doesn't get the ball that much. He doesn't need it that much. That's a couple throws. 2 throws. He gets 15 reception yards. He's beaten that 6 games in a row. So there you go.
Okay. I like that, G. I like that.
Okay. You like those. All right. Hey, let's go to fantasy then. Let's see what the fantasy managers are doing. See if we can help them out, T-Money. And we're both in the playoffs, T-Money and I. Of course we're in the playoffs. We're father-son sports. You know what I'm saying? And all you fantasy managers out there, let's give you some tips for week 15 and give you some DFS tips. If you're out of it, play some DFS, play some daily fantasy if you're out of your playoffs. It's a lot of fun. Let's start with hot and cold. We'll give you flex player tips. G-Man gives you the hot ones. T-Man gives you the cold ones. Don't start them. They're going to break your heart. T-Money's going to tell you which ones. Running back. We've given you some big running back picks over the last weeks, man. And this week, T-Money, I'm going with someone you know and love, and that's James Cook. James Cook really broke fantasy managers' hearts last week, getting only 5 fantasy points, 6 carries, 2 catches. Hard to trust him, right? Although here comes another high-scoring game on tap, week 15 against Detroit. You know there's going to be offense. That defense for Detroit's allowing 4.4 yards per carry. They've given up 12 rushing scores in 13 games. Start them up, boys. Cook breaks back out in week 15. And plus, only 1,600 on DraftKings. I'm going James Cook for my start him and watch him running back flex pick of the week.
All right. I like it. I got him as my as one of my running backs. So
that's a gutsy pick. You know that.
Yeah,
that's a gutsy
I know.
Pick.
That's a
I'm
good
stepping
one.
out there. Okay. Wait till you
right.
see my wide receiver. Another Got another gutsy one coming up, T
I
Money. Who
got,
you
I
got at
got,
running back?
I'm going to go gutsy too. I got two big names for you, but first let's start with my cold running back, and that's everyone potential league winner right now. That's Isaiah Pacheco. Okay.
Oh,
I know
whoa.
everyone's excited that this guy is back. All right.
Yeah.
He's projected for 14.6 versus the Browns, but hold on now. I know he's getting more reps. I know he's getting more touches, but the Browns are seventh best team versus running backs in fantasy. They have a very good defensive line and are good at stopping the run. All right.
Yeah.
And I know he's just getting back from injury, but we got to point out these last two games, he's only had 6 touches and 6 points and 8 points the last two
Working him,
games.
working him
Only
back slowly.
I know, but only 3 total catches. So he's not getting the ball out of the backfield like you'd like to see. I know he's taking over, but I think Kareem Hunt's still going to be in the mix here, especially around the goal line. Watch out for him to steal some touchdowns.
Oh, would that be
He's a
terrible?
bigger back. And so I think Isaiah Pacheco might let down some managers this week. I'd be nervous going to Cleveland this weekend with Isaiah Pacheco as my starting running back.
Okay. Whoa. All right. Good pick. That is a gutsy pick because you think he'd be getting more and more. But yeah, they might be still kind of take it
Yeah.
easy on him. Hey, let's go to wide receivers. I'm going to give you my wide receiver pick of the week. Stepping out again with a gutsy pick here. G-Man, I'm going Deebo Samuel in that must-win game Thursday night.
Okay.
Deebo's disappeared out there. He's not delivering anything. He did lead the 49ers wide receivers in snaps and route runs, though. You probably didn't know that. But he has not logged more than 25 receiving yards since week 10. And he's only scored 2 touchdowns the whole year. So why G-Man picking him? Because they're going to bounce back. In week 15, San Fran against a beatable Rams defense. You saw the Bills ripping apart the Rams defense. Debo's got to step it up. They're favored to win. He's got to step it up. The Rams defense has allowed the 9th most passing yards in the NFL this season, and I love his price on DraftKings. Only $5,700 for Debo. Start him and watch him. My wide receiver flex pick of the week.
All right. Another spicy one. I like it. I like it.
Gutsy.
I'm going to go even gutsier here. My cold wide receiver of the week. Everyone's new hot pick of the week. Jackson Smith and Jigba. All right. JSN has been getting hot here.
Everybody's darling. You're right.
Everyone's darling. He's, the past few weeks have been crazy. Okay. He's got 13, 37, 21, 19, 12, 20. Not this week. Okay.
Oh,
not this week. He's projected for 14.5 versus Green Bay. Green Bay is a good, serious team. And they're the 9th hardest team to play versus wide receivers in fantasy. Yes, he did have what I said, 12 and 20 these past 2 weeks, but in total, he only had 9 targets. This is a very efficient ball catcher, all right? Without a touchdown, he cannot get to this number. So you are basically anytime touchdowning Jackson Smith-Njigba because he hasn't had double-digit targets any of the last 3 games. So I'm just saying, it's very hard to trust people. I'd rather have a guy like Drake London, who I know is guaranteed double-digit targets, even though he might only get 13 points. That's his floor because of the target share. Right now, the past 2 weeks, he had 5 and 4 targets. So just be careful trusting this guy to explode onto the scene because the targets aren't there. Geno spreads that ball around. And this, again, is a run-first offense with Charbonnet and Walker getting the touches and getting the touchdowns. So, again, without a touchdown, I don't see JSN hitting that number, and the targets aren't there. So that's what concerns me here. JSN, my cold wide receiver of the week.
His targets have come down. I see that. That has come down. Good catch there. We'll see what happens. A little bit of a risk there, everybody. Hey, let's go to Take or Mistake, our little game with T-Money. He doesn't know who we're picking. We're going to pick a player that had a big week last week. T-Money tells us whether we should take the bait this week or would that be a mistake. And let's ask T-Money this week about Tyrone Tracy from the Giants. Tracy rushes for 16 times, 45 yards, and a touchdown against the Saints. He also caught 5 passes for 38. However, Tracy's been held under 50 yards rushing in 3 straight contests and will likely have a difficult time in week 15 versus the Ravens. Tracy has found the end zone in 3 of the last 4 games for the Giants, but the Ravens are first in the NFL against rushing yards allowed. T-Money. Are you starting Tyrone Tracy this Sunday against the Ravens? Is he a take, or would that be a big mistake?
Oh man, this is a tough one. If you're desperate, I think he's a solid play. Look, I probably trust him more than I trust Isaiah Pacheco. How about that?
Okay.
Look, the guy is getting touches. I know they were playing Tampa Bay and Dallas. He didn't have a lot, but before that, he's averaging over 15 touches a game just on carries. All right. And he's been getting more involved in the passing game. All right. He's been catching balls a lot. He's the only touchdown machine on this team. They are not going to score through the air. And do you think they're going to be held to nothing versus Baltimore? Maybe, but that defense has been leaky and not that good this year. So I'm just saying he is going to be the focal point of this, especially now that Drew Lock is out. Tommy Cutlets is in. Drew Lock's the better quarterback who could push the ball down the field. Now they're going to be a little more reserved and they're going to run the damn ball. So I do like Tyrone Tracy in this matchup. If you are desperate, don't be afraid to start him. I think he's got a solid floor of 12 points, and something like that is exactly what you're looking for.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Hey, let's jump to our daily fantasy sports. Like I said, if you're not in the playoffs, try out DraftKings DFS, man. You'll have a lot of fun. Here's my DFS lineup this week. I got a Rams stack for you, and I got a Buffalo stack for you. I got Stafford at QB. He's only $6,000. You got to look at the value there. And stacking them up with Cooper Kupp. I got Cooper Kupp at one of the receivers. For Buffalo, I'm stacking James Cook along with Shakir. And I picked up some other guys that are in hot games. Detroit's Tim Patrick at my flex, only $4,300. So I put him in my flex. And I've got Tracy in there, and I've got James Cook in there. My most expensive guy on this whole board is Cooper Kupp, $7,000. But all the rest are under $7,000, and most are under $6,000. That's my DFS lineup for this week. Going after, I do have Njoku at the tight end, by the way, and he's questionable. So check that out. That may be, you may have to switch that up at the last minute. So there you go, a little DFS. That's it for today's show, everybody. Hope you had fun getting ready for NFL Week 15. Good luck in your fantasy playoffs. Father Son Sports loves bringing to you the NFL energy. We hope you had fun. On behalf of T Money, I'm G-Man. Enjoy the week.
Peace.